So, when we talk about constipation, bloating, heaviness, sluggishness, these aren't just random symptoms. They're actually your gut's way of telling you something's off. Look, I'm going to be real with you. As a podcaster and a consultant and a writer, I'm always on the go. And I have struggled for years to maintain my energy, to really keep myself kind of together with bloating around my cycle, all the things you can think of. This is where Oxy Powder from Global Healing came in. Oxy Powder isn't just another cleanse or quick fix. It's a targeted oxygen based formula that gently and safely breaks down and flushes out waste and toxins that build up in your gut over time. I take it at night, and by the morning, I'm feeling lighter and clearer, just better. Oxy Powder is easy to take, and because of that, it's become a staple in my routine. And I'm not the only one. A consumer study showed incredible results. 95% said that it relieved constipation, 87% said it felt relief from bloating, and a massive 95% said they would use it again, with 93% recommending it to a friend. If you're tired of feeling weighed down, trust me on this. Head over to globalhealing.com/heal and try Oxy Powder for 20% off. You'll thank me later. That's globalhealing.com/heal. Welcome to the Black Girl Burnout Podcast. Kelley here. And today I want to talk about the fact that fall is approaching. We are in September if you are listening to this episode in real time. And there is this thing that happens, this feeling, this energy that comes when we hit fall. And that is this energy of urgency, the need to get things done, make big goals, and rush, hustle, hustle, hustle. The year is almost over. And what has happened for the last 9 months? What have we been doing? There is this kind of panic. And then that panic is channeled into hardcore hustle. And I think in the process of doing that, we might be, no, I know in the process of doing that, we are losing out on the lessons of the season. And so I want to offer you an episode that is going to talk about exactly what the lessons of fall and winter teach us, but particularly fall, and give you an alternative perspective on how to close the year out with ease and not urgency. Because the truth is, fall teaches us what so many of us forget in the rush of trying to finish strong and hustle. And that's that letting go is sacred, that slowing down is not the same as giving up, and that ease, I mean real ease, is something you can choose, not something you can just hope for. So hopefully today's episode is an invitation, not to just hustle your way to the end of the year, but to consider another type of lock-in, the type that has you return to what matters, to have you let go of what doesn't, and to remember that you can still finish proud without finishing depleted. So, yes, I too have joined the great lock-in of 2025, but I'm doing it differently. I'm calling it the great soft lock-in, because the way I'm moving in the final stretch of 2025 is not by sprinting and not by cramming, not by rushing, but by centering. And when I talk about centering, I really want to tell you how I'm doing that in a way that hopefully you feel is reasonable and possible for yourself. A plug to Substack. I talked about this in a post on Substack all about how I am doing a soft lock-in and a Notion template I'm using, a YouTube video that I followed. Check it out on Substack. I'm telling you, it's going to be very helpful. But what I really found important here is that I wanted to kind of create an energy around myself and around my life that didn't feel like I was stressed trying to get it all done. That I could actually have big goals and feel good while accomplishing them. And while it's still early September, the intention setting began in August, and I cannot tell you how at peace I am as I come to the end of the year. And this is from someone who is like a recovering type A, get it done woman. My intention for the rest of this year is to close the year with ease and with gentleness, and at the same time, really dig into the theme of my 2025, which was the rebuild. That's what I'm calling 2025. It has been a year where I have had a lot of stress and strain in the beginning of 2025, but more so coming off a 2024 that was frankly devastating for me in every way imaginable. It was emotionally hard, spiritually hard, physically hard. I'm still grieving. There's a lot of 2024 that leveled me in ways that were moments of loud devastation and moments of quiet devastation. And because my energy was so scattered, some of it completely out of my control, but my thoughts, my energy, my emotions were all over the place. I really wanted to spend 2025 rebuilding my life in all areas and centering and grounding myself in a way I have never done before. It was like this sense of appropriate, I don't want to say urgency because we're fighting against that, but appropriate drive and a calling to kind of pull back the layers in my life and stand firm, like really stand tall. Like I think about when I'm working out those core exercises where they tell you like tighten your core, hold in your core, because once your core is stabilized, you can do so much more with your body. I wanted to do that emotionally. And so for you, I want to offer the opportunity to join me in this kind of philosophically, spiritually speaking, of a soft lock in where you ground yourself and whatever that means for you. Let this be the season of locking in and not chasing. And part of that means that I want this end of the year to be about choosing what matters and releasing everything that doesn't. The thing about fall is that fall teaches us the power and the beauty of letting go. And I wanted to clear out the fluff and clear out the negativity, the distracting emotions, and give myself permission to just focus on that stability, that groundingness. What we don't do, particularly in the right now, is just as sacred as what we choose to commit to. And so a lot of my locking in was focusing on 3 core goals and giving myself permission to let go of everything else. And so let me tell you a little bit more about what that looked like in practice for me. What does the great lock-in look like for me? And that is, I am doing a few things. I have a couple of goals. I have one goal that is foundational to everything I'm doing. I've also been subscribing to the 12-week year methodology, but I'm doing it softly. I do believe 12 weeks of your life can change everything. And while a lot of people do the 12-week year in the beginning of the year, like a January, I tend to do it, and I've been wanting to do it at the end of the year because I'm already planning for next year. And so it calls on you to kind of think about a 12-week stretch where you really kind of develop habits and achieve goals. And so I want to share a couple of things that I am locking into, but doing so softly. I have a foundational goal all around rest and ease. The bottom line is I am determined to walk the talk. My whole life has been about that. I think the success that I have had in my writing and in this podcast, that modest success has come from the fact that I think that you all can tell that I'm just being for real when I talk to you. There is no hidden agenda. I'm not trying to aestheticize wellness and look beautiful while doing all the things and do 50 things and juggle it all and tell you you can have it all and it's so great and so wonderful. I'm really transparent and honest. And part of that is who I am, and part of it is an accountability measure for me. I cannot come to you on the mic. I really cannot do it. I've tried. I cannot come to you in the mic and tell you what might be the right thing to do, but something I'm not doing. I have to be living what I'm telling you. That's the only way this platform works for me. And so part of that means always centering rest and ease. It is not pretending to reject hustle culture and then jumping into it with both feet and then pretending on the mic that I'm just living this easeful life. No, it is about living an easeful life. And so part of that means that my first foundational goal, the number one goal, is to come into full alignment with rest and ease as a foundational part of my life. That is my first goal. And to achieve that, that means having a gentle morning. That means taking the time to listen to my body and let my body drive my schedule versus forcing myself to work when I'm sick or to work when my energy levels just naturally are low. We're not doing that as the closeout to this year. Because foundationally, it's all about ease and rest and walking the talk. My second goal is about getting some money up in here. I am really passionate about Black women, particularly, having their comfort, having their ease, and having their coins. And I do not think those two things are in opposition of each other. I think they both work well together. I want you rested and moisturized, and I want you out of debt and anxiety that comes with struggles around money. And to that end, I want to remind you again, we have a partnership with Savvy Ladies, free 55-minute call. If you have not called these people, what are you waiting for? Free 55 minutes to talk about anything related to your finances. And as a reminder, in the show notes, the link to the helpline is there for you to get that free call. To that end, my financial goal specifically is around obtaining a few more contracts for my day job business, my consultancy, really thinking about money in an expansive way that I haven't before. Instead of thinking about what I need to do for the quarter, I'm already thinking about what I need to do for next year and even into 2027. What do I want to carry into 2026? And what needs to be composted, to go with our fall metaphor, or let go of this fall. So let me tell you a little bit about how I am approaching in specifics this 12-week year kind of framework and my soft lock-in of 2025, how I really want to close out this year with embracing the spirit of fall. So, as I said, I am doing the 12-week year. And for me, this is reclaiming this notion of pushing and pulling and locking in this harsh way. I want to reclaim that from hustle culture. I do not want my end of the year to be one of hustle. And that also means that I'm redefining what goal setting looks like at this time of year. I really see it as a commitment, maybe even a seasonal commitment versus a pressurized thing, something that has to get done. And I really want to offer to you, through my example and how I'm doing it, an opportunity to use this kind of framework as a tool, not a trap, not a way to get yourself hustling and working and going crazy as we close out the year. And the way I'm kind of thinking about this, and the question I want to pose to you is, what if this was less about productivity and more about achieving a rhythm? And to that end, I want to talk to you about how I've orchestrated my goals for this 12-week year, this great lock-in, this soft lock-in that I'm doing, how I'm doing that. And really what I'm thinking about is a couple of things. I'm thinking about soul aligned intentions, like what really on this like cellular level is something I want to accomplish this year. What do I want to feel more of? And what's a boundary I might be thinking about keeping? And I want to tell you how that translates into those three kind of goals that I've set for myself. The first goal that I have is a foundational one. It is one that is about walking the talk. So, this goal is all about integrating ease and rest into my life. I really want, and I've always wanted Black Girl Burnout to be this authentic podcast where I show up and tell you the ways that I am actively opting out of struggle and opting into a life of joy, and how I am leaving behind hustle culture and embracing a softer, more gentler way of living that isn't in opposition to getting big goals accomplished. And that is the most important thing I want people to take away from this podcast, from this platform, from every which way I speak, is that you can be successful, you can have big goals, and you can do it without burning yourself out, and you can do it without hating your life in the process. And I don't know that we appropriately have taught ourselves that. As Black women, we know about sacrifice, we know about pushing, we know about getting things done in spite of. But what would it look like to live a life where you get things done as an extension of who you are, with ease, with, dare I say, joy? And so it's about how I hold on to structure without slipping into self-punishment or self-betrayal. Patterns I've fallen into before where I just push harder and go quicker. Instead, I want to start with ease. And so that looks like, in practicality, my morning routine. It looks in practicality with me drinking some water, taking a moment, listening to my body, letting my body drive my day as much as possible versus just beating myself into submission of my schedule. You must do this, you must do that. Where I can, infusing ease and rest. That is my primary foundational goal. And I believe, because it is more a healthy, soulful, emotionally, physically, and spiritually healthier goal, I really do believe that focusing on that first will leave room for me to focus on my next goal, which is a financial goal. Because as I said, let's get them coins. And I have very specific financial goals for myself for the end of the year. And it's more about business development even than like a money number, although I do believe that everybody should think about budget, think about what they need in their lives. But I also really want to move away from, and encourage you to move away from, this kind of obsession we have with saying 6-figure living and 7-figure lifestyle. I am telling you right now that those kinds of obsessions never lead to the outcomes you want. And if they lead to it numerically, which they don't always do, they definitely don't lead to it emotionally. You never feel like you achieve emotionally or mentally or spiritually. You just end up depleted. I'm not into that at all. You've heard me say I reject it. I reject all of that. I don't ever want to tell you how to make 7 figures, 6 figures. I don't want to do any of that. Because one, your money is very personal. I don't know about your lifestyle. If you live in a small rural town where the cost of living is very low, making 75 grand might be the smartest, most financially freeing salary that you could ever achieve in your life. And if you live in Midtown Manhattan, you're going to need to make 6 figures to have the same level of ease and joy that the $75,000 a year person is making. So it really feels unrealistic to tell you what number to achieve. And it is really about you looking at what brings ease to your life, what your budget needs, what your rent is, what your joy budget is, all those things to tell you what your number is to have that ease. But I highly encourage you to determine that ease number. And if you want me to do an episode on that, or even an episode on how I am doing my specific business and career goals, I'm happy to talk about that at length, but I want to put that out there to you. So that joy and ease number, find that out. Do not base it against $1 million or 100,000. Don't do any of that nonsense. Just do for you what you need. And so I've calculated mine. I know what I need. And because I'm planning for 2026 and 2027, I know the number I need to reach for. So I have put a specific stretch number. It's not a number so high that I will be physically ill getting there or have to ignore everybody and have no joy for the next 3 months to get to what I need to get to. And it's also not so ambitious that if I don't make it, I hate myself and I'm stuck in a negative script of like, oh, you failed. Like, I don't want to feel that way. Over here at Black Girl Burnout, we are in our summer of yes. And there's just something about the summer that just feels good. So, what better time to create healthy meal habits that are actually going to last? What better time to get Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for clean eating? Green Chef makes it easy to spend less time in the kitchen and more time enjoying the summer. With their new heat and eat meals, you can enjoy a delicious, wholesome meal in just 3 minutes. I use this product and you should too. It's delicious. They're really great, really easy, filled with clean ingredients, all set up to help you build lasting and healthy habits without the hassle. I love the Mediterranean options. The fish has been delicious, and it's opened me up to meals I wouldn't necessarily try on my own, and they've all been delicious. Make this summer your healthiest yet with Green Chef. Head to greenchef.com/50BGB and use the code 50BGB to get 50% off your first month, then 20% off for 2 months with free shipping. That's code 50BGB at greenchef.com/50BGB. It's just like, let me look to get more business contracts or business relationships. Let me leverage my network in a way to produce more income because I need to think going forward and I really want to continue to have a life of ease from 2026 on. So that's my second goal. It's very specific about the need for me to secure some income and some streams of income and some contracts and leveraging my network amongst other things to get it and to strategize thoughtfully around that. And then my third goal is about one thing I want to feel more of, which is love and creativity. Like, I want to fall back in love with my life and I really want to romanticize my life. As you know, 2024 was devastating. And so I want to be able to make the rest of this year and every year afterward a life that I love as an honor to my father and an honor to myself. And because of that, I want to be more creative and I want to have more love in my life. And that can be specific narrowly and broader and expansively. Like, I really want to get up in the morning and love what I do and love the day because I woke up in it and I'm alive. And that means for me reading my romance novels, reading love poems, writing more, taking myself on artistic dates, going to museums, consuming movies that move me, going to plays, wandering and daydream and just journaling more, stream of consciousness, just surrounding myself with the things that make me excited, going to concerts and having more music in my life, a space of gratitude and love. I just want to have more romance and romanticize my life in the process. Very important to me. And that is my third goal. So my first goal is really a boundary goal about rest and ease, sticking to my morning routine, sticking to my evening routine, and listening to my body, setting a boundary to listen to my body, because I don't always do that well. You know, I'll know all the things I'm supposed to do. And again, walking the talk, I tell y'all about a sleep routine, and then I'll be watching something that dysregulates my nervous system that I enjoy, but it's dysregulating as all get out. And I know, girl, you're not going to bed now. You're going to be up for another 2 hours, just processing, doing stuff, not sleeping. So I really want to set boundaries with myself about listening to my body, honoring my body, taking a break, taking a chill pill, right? So those are my 3 goals. Again, if you want an episode specifically on that, I'm happy to do one. I am basically using the 12-week frame without letting it push me into hustle culture and push, 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 pull, pull, pull. That is what I want to have. And that's what I'm setting up for my soft lock-in. Because ultimately, the fall is an opportunity to do some really kind of emotional and physical and spiritual work. It is less about locking in to get goals and make some money and get that thing done, girl. And you said you were going to have your body looking like this. It's less about that and more about the deeper kind of emotional work to be done, and even tapping into some of the ancestral work of remembering who we are and what we came from, who we came from as a people. And remembering that the stories that we have been told about who we are as Black women are not the stories from people long ago in Africa. They're the stories that perpetuate us burning out and denying ourselves and abandoning ourselves. Again, do not mistake conditioning for ambition. And a lot of times, the messages we get as Black women are not ones of ease or of joy. It's of push, pull, sacrifice, go, 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 go. Have 3 jobs, start a master's degree, start a new workout plan. We will regiment and push and pull ourselves and call it girl bossing, hustling, call it, I'm ambitious, I want to get things done. And really all it is capitalism, the remnants of white supremacy and slavery, and this need to work, work, work for very little return on investment, emotionally, spiritually, and a lot of times financially. So I want to get back to what really is our inheritance, and it's not hustle and girl bossing. Our inheritance is joy and vibrancy and culture and dance and community and beauty. That is our inheritance as Black women. And because of that, we have to change the way we goal set and the way we push ourselves. And we need to do that by normalizing rest, normalizing grief, and normalizing joy as all coexisting in our bodies at the same time, and very valid fall energy. Fall is about letting go and resting, and yet there's so much beauty if you live in an area that has the fall season. There's so much beauty in the letting go, in the quieting. And in the letting go, there is a measure of grief. Letting go isn't giving up. I want to be clear about that. It's sacred work. And fall, and what it symbolizes, is giving us permission we didn't even know we needed. Our bodies start to slow down. Our energy starts to get a little quieter. And it's listening to that and flowing with that is going to get you what you need. I promise you, you're going to get your goals accomplished. I am here to prove that to you, that I am slowing down against everything that is in my body. That is not who I am. That is not how I've lived my life. I am a recovering type A workaholic. I can work, work, work. But I have learned through the humbling moments that is living in 2025, in any day, I have been consistently humbled. That is only when I let go, when I surrender, and when I relax, that goodness happens. I cannot hustle my way at this juncture of my life into the goals I want. I can only surrender and let go and release. Let's be real. One of the biggest sources of burnout for Black women is money. Whether it's debt, divorce, home buying, investing, or just trying to make it to the next paycheck, financial stress is real and it's exhausting. But here's something that can help. The Savvy Ladies Helpline. It's free. Yes, really free. You get 55 minutes with a certified financial expert, No strings, no judgment, just real answers to your real money questions. Want to build wealth, prep for retirement, figure out how to invest or navigate money after a breakup? They've got you. Savvy Ladies is on a mission to make financial education accessible to all women, and the helpline is a game changer. So if money is stealing your peace, I invite you to take one powerful step toward financial freedom. Visit savvyladies.org and book your free session today. You don't have to struggle alone. You can opt out of burnout and into clarity, confidence, and peace with your money. What's something that I've kind of thought I would get done this year, but I've consciously decided to lay down? It revolves around this podcast. I really had some big goals, and I still have goals in my business related to my podcast. I am never going to let that go, but I'm watching a lot of creators crash out, validly complain about podcasting and how hard it is, how it's not financially as beneficial as people think, how basically, a girl's got to hustle to make it. I'm not Joe Rogan. I'm not whatever the woman who does Call Her Daddy. I am not a multi-million-dollar machine. People are not throwing money in the streets for me to gather to be a podcaster. And yet I know I'm a good podcaster. I know this podcast is good. I know I'm a good writer. I know I have what it takes, but I'm also not willing to have a size 4 body. I don't have the aesthetics necessarily. Right now I'm doing this podcast. My hair is in a puff and I'm in sweats. And I love that. I also love to dress up. I love to look good, but I never want to be trapped into doing that for the podcast. Wellness is not an aesthetic. I don't need to be hot for you all to get the information you need to be better. And I want to just decouple European beauty standards and the push to be a certain way or look a certain way in order to have a life that's joyful. You can have a joyful life just as you are today without losing a pound, without putting on an ounce of makeup, without doing your hair perfectly. I'm pretty joyful and I'm in sweats today because I don't feel it. And I refuse to get in that race. I refuse to be trapped by it. Not because I don't like working out. I don't like putting on a little makeup. I'm a girly girl. But I don't want to be trapped by it. And I also don't want to be in the podcast trap where I got to get numbers. Y'all got to show up for me. I got to hit this marker. I'm tired, y'all. If at this point I can't get folks to listen to the podcast or leave a review or do any of the things, and so many of you are doing it. I want to be clear about this. This isn't me coming sideways at you. I'm simply saying I have let go of the need to force it. I want to love what I do and I don't want to crash out over it. And as someone who has crashed out multiple times behind the podcast, I'm not taking it with me. And I don't obsess anymore about the numbers. Of course I care. Of course this podcast costs money to run, y'all. This is self-funded. I don't have a studio backing me. But I have released the need to betray myself, to abandon myself, to fall into the moving the goalpost trap where you do this many numbers and someone comes in and tells you got to do twice that to get to the new goal. I've released that. It is what it's going to be. Black Girl Burnout is my legacy, and I am proud of this podcast, and I'm proud of every single one of you who listens to it, but I'm no longer interested in fighting corporate America and capitalism to get recognition, to get rewards, to get the numbers and the attention and the money that makes this something I could do full time. I hope it happens. I want a podcast full time, but I'm not willing to compromise myself and most importantly, my joy to do it. So it's something I thought I would get done this year. I thought I had this whole plan. I'm going to execute it. We're going to do it. I let it go. And can I just tell you, I feel so light. I don't want it to take me down. And I don't want to be sad about something that brings me way too much joy. And so it's something I've let go of. And my question for you then is, what are you laying down? Not because it failed, but because it's no longer yours to carry. Ultimately, the success of Black Girl Burnout will have nothing to do with my talent, my love, and the work and energy I put into this podcast. It just won't. There'll be some other outside factor that'll make it work. Somebody will hear it and they'll tell a million people, or celebrity will hear it and love Black Girl Burnout or something, and it'll take off. But I have released and decoupled my work, my value, my worth from the success of this podcast. And yet I'm still going to work hard. I'm still going to get it done, but I'm going to do it from a place of love and ease. And I'm not doing the race, which is why I dropped down to 1 time a week. It's why I do what I do now. So that's me. That's how I'm doing things with ease. I'm doing my fall reset. I am learning the power of softly locking in and getting big goals accomplished. And I'm also learning to let go and the beauty of letting things fall. So for you, how can you apply this? I want to invite you to do the same. It doesn't matter what your framework is. If it's a 12-week year, I will give that to you. That's going to be in the show notes. But I want you to think about just what your lock-in looks like and how to do that with more softness. I want you to journal and reflect on that. What does that look like for you? And if it's a financial goal, I beg of you not to measure your financial metrics across somebody else. What do you need for you? What is your personal number? I want you ultimately to realize that you don't have to earn your way into ease. So what if this lock-in was softer, and after you journaled, you thought about, what do I need that will bring more ease so I can do the things I love and be proud of this year? Not end the year stressed and pressed, but end it with a sigh and with gratitude. I want you to finish your year proud, not pressured. And I want you to remember that there is power in choosing less and choosing it deeply. This isn't about abandoning goals and be like, girl, I don't care. Let's just finish the year out any old way. This is about choosing less with intention, choosing less and choosing it deeply. I want to nourish this podcast. I want to feel alive and excited when I'm on the mic. I'm doing less, but I'm doing it with more intention and more deeply, more soulful. That's what I want for you. There's many ways you can lock in. You can, again, join me on Substack, Black Girl Burnout. It's free, where you can see this series I just did on this topic. You can take time to journal and reflect. And I want you ultimately to come up with your own soft lock-in and maybe hashtag it for me. Let's do hashtag soft lock-in and tell me how you are choosing ease and choosing goals and getting big goals accomplished. I'm going to make a commitment, because y'all, I'm terrible at this, to do the same on social media, to chronicle my journey to choosing ease versus choosing hustle as I do the 12-week year. That's the framework I'm using. And I come into fall with ease and get my goals accomplished. This fall, I'm not doing more. I'm doing what matters. And I hope you are too. So that's it for today's episode. If you like what you're hearing, please share this with a Black woman who needs this. Share with any woman who needs this, really, but Black women particularly. This is Black Girl Burnout. I see all across my timeline beautiful, incredible, intelligent Black women telling you to lock in and giving you frameworks for that. But I don't see a lot of us saying, do it with ease, that you can have an easeful fall and winter and a profitable one, that you can have a gentle fall and winter and have and ambitious one. You can hold both. I don't see anybody talking about that. And so I want to amplify that message as often and as big as I can, because I know people need to hear this and need permission to put down the hustle, to put down the pressure. So please share it. I want to also encourage you to support the podcast. And the smallest way to do that is to leave a review. If you haven't, what are you waiting for? Please do so. It makes a difference financially for the podcast. Reviews matter. Please drop the 5 stars. Follow me across all social media platforms. It's real easy. It's just Black Girl Burnout everywhere. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and of course, my beloved Substack. 10,000 people in 7 months. I can't believe we did that. It's blowing up over there. And it is joyful for me to write and go deeper into these topics. Again, like I said, it's free to join. If you want to patron my work and support the work, because the podcast is self-funded, a good way to do that is by becoming a paid member. It's less than cost of a fancy coffee, and it supports the work that I'm doing, and it would mean a lot. Until next week, take care of yourself, take care of each other, rest well, and softly lock in.